Hey guys, I am here to talk about kind of how Unity works with the prefabs, more specifically. This is originally for Team GCR for the project that we're working on, but I decided to probably be a helpful thing just to open up to everybody at GCR. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. Sorry I look like Shia LaBeouf right now. I just haven't had a chance to really shave. Yeah, but anyways, I want to get into this, and I might go over some other things just in case. But yeah, if you're not familiar with prefabs in Unity, they're basically how everything works. Prefabs are just a container. They hold assets, they hold scripts, they hold other prefabs, and they're very powerful. They were redone a few years ago. Before, you could not subnest prefabs a few years ago in Unity, and subnesting really opened it up so that you can. Subnesting is when you have another prefab inside of a prefab, so you can have like a main prefab container that has like all these other prefabs, and you can swap out prefabs in code. You can change things about them in code. You can do all kinds of things with them. They're just good for a workflow standpoint. Like if you have like an enemy and you have a bunch of different versions of that enemy, you basically can have that one main enemy and then make a variant prefab off of that enemy, like the blue one, green one, or whatever one that has like fire on its head, whatever the heck you want. And then if something needs to change about it, like the main structure of it, like if the script needs to be added to it across all of them in the game, it's just very easy to do when you're already basing it off of a prefab at the a base prefab. So yeah, I just wanted to go into that. So this is a nice scene. This is just the default Unity scene. I just opened it up, downloaded it, and opened it right now. I'm just going to use this guy as an example. So right now, if something is white, like a white frame, white icon, that's just a regular object. It's blue, like shaded blue if it's a prefab. So this prefab exists somewhere in Unity. Let's go to prefab. Open select asset. So you select asset, and it will go in the hierarchy, the library here. So it's in art, meshes, props, vol, prefab, and it'll take you right there where it exists in the library. So a prefab is something that exists in the library. Everything else is just a game object, and it only exists in the scene. It does not exist anywhere else in the project, just this scene if it's the white icon. Yeah, so let's I'll just show you like stuff. So it's made of two different objects here, it looks like. So there's the main ball, which has the capsule, has a capsule collider on it. I'll get into these actually. These are components. Every single prefab in Unity has components that make it what it is. Every single object in Unity has a transform that's position, rotation, scale. Without that, it can't exist in the game. So every single thing is made with this to begin with. Let me just make my own game object just to show you. Let's create a prefab. So game object, we'll just call this, I don't know, let's make it like a tree or something. Hey, here's my tree. So naming, depends on the project, I guess. I'll just say tree default. Hey, it's a default tree. It's nowhere right now. Right now it's just, it's not, so Unity does this thing where it doesn't create things at 0, 0, 0, which is really freaking annoying. It basically takes your camera where you're at, and it tries to guess where it should put something based on where your camera is, and I don't know why they did that, but I guess, I don't know. They have reasons. So I've got my default tree, which is nothing. You can add components to turn this right into a mesh. I advise highly against this. The top part of the prefab should usually just be like a game object. Usually. Not 100% of the time, most of the time. There's exceptions to this rule, but in this case, I have my tree, and then I'm going to have meshes in the game. So what I would do is, excuse me, I wish I had some meshes here to work with. See if they have anything. They really don't. Oh, they do. Okay. I can just do something here then, actually. Instead of a tree, we'll do something else, whatever they have here. They have a pillar. Ooh, here's a pillar. We'll drop this pillar in. So I dropped a pillar from the library into... This is a mesh, though. This is not a prefab. This is a mesh. These are different. Mesh is just an asset that's exported. You rarely want to just use a mesh directly in the game. if it's like a background object, that's fine. Those are fine. If it's just a background, nothing that's interacted with. If something's interacted with, I like to make the hard rule that it must be a prefab. Just because meshes have their own import options and settings. If you turn it into a prefab, you can change the material on it, change different things about it, the scale, whatever you want. It will save that and it will be there. You don't have to do it. If you have just the mesh in the game, you have to, every time you have to import it, you would have to kind of make sure it's working. It's a pain. So yeah, usually what I do when I bring a mesh in, so we're gonna change this to pillar. We'll just say pillar default. See, this is like a gameplay object of some sort. It's not just like some background thing, even though it is. And so, to be honest, we don't even need. Yeah, we're gonna make something out of this. Actually, we're gonna put something else in here. We got a pillar, and then we're gonna do a counter. Sure, why not? There we go. We got our counter. We just put a counter mesh in here. Let's put that inside of our pillar default. And the origin is whatever the origin you so the origin of the scene that you export from is the origin of the object of the mesh. So make sure this was not exported correctly from Unity's part. They were probably just doing stuff fast and whatever. I don't know. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. So let me just make like a little top to my pillar that I have. I just put two meshes together inside my pillar default. And the reason why I make everything prefabs is that if you want to package effects along with this pillar, if this is a torch, if you want to put a light on it or anything, you can just throw it into the prefab. You don't have to have some sort of like complex system to like populate thing. Or it's just also like if you want to reuse it, it's all about reusability too. It's not just about, so you don't want to just like put things in the scene and be done. You want to put them in the library and drag them from the library into the scene. I think it's just the best workflow. So now that I have this object, it's not a prefab yet. You can see it's still that. And to turn it into a prefab, sorry, I got my mic in the way here. My prefab, I'm just going to put it in a place that makes sense. What's a good structure? I don't like their structure here. They have the animations. Whatever. It doesn't matter. So we're going to have you're going to have a prefabs folder, probably. Because programmers will want to have that folder accessible, but they don't want to necessarily have all the assets in the way of all the prefabs. So what you're going to do is make a folder. If I could, it's at the top, that's why I couldn't see it. So I'll just say prefabs. And if you do UI will be its own folder. Prefabs are kind of like more like direct in-game used objects, I think. I don't know, it depends on the project again. To make this a prefab, it's very easy. You just click on it and drag it in. And it's a prefab now. Yay, it turned blue. And you can have more prefabs inside this prefab if you want. Well, let's do that. Let's put another pillar inside a pillar for no reason at all. So yeah, I have another pillar inside, which might do some weird stuff actually, if I change it. So I'm not going to do that because it's its own prefab inside itself. So that might do some weird stuff. Yeah, so I have this default pillar, and I can put whatever I want. I can put let's create an object. So sphere. Put a sphere in it. Why not? You know, I put a sphere on it. Say hey, this is this is not. And generally, you actually don't want to be working in the scene on these. I mean, sometimes you do. What you do is this. So I'm starting to edit it inside the scene. I don't like that because it's starting to make edits. So what they call overrides. These are edits in the scene. So right now I have a sphere added in the scene as an override, but it's not actually in the real asset itself. So if I use this asset somewhere else in the game, it won't have that sphere in it. I'm going to say apply all. Because if this is your workflow to work in the level, you have to make sure you're applying the overrides so that that object is updated in the library. So it's updated now. I applied the overrides. But if you want to work on it, you should do this. Double click in. There's a little arrow here. You can click there or double click. So now I am editing my guy directly inside its own thing. And sorry about that. I can do whatever I want. I can do whatever I want in this editor. This is the editor. So this is an editor that didn't exist before. Some people might be like, what is this? Because they've used Unity for a long time. This is the prefab editor that did not exist. You used to have to edit prefabs in scenes, which was really a pain a lot of times. But this is like, oh, this is so perfect. Especially, like, it'll actually, if you have a scene going, say, I want to save my changes. If you have a scene going on, you can tell it to, like, keep the scene there, but you're not accidentally editing other things. It's really cool. So you can say normal. So right now I'm editing this prefab, but I can see the scene, which is really helpful. Like, I can't select anything else but what's in this prefab. So I hope this helps everyone's workflow a lot. Like, I feel like this stuff is just absolutely critical. I just wanted to kind of put it out there because I know it's hard to find all this information. Yeah, and I guess, like, we can go. I'll keep going. I'll keep going a little bit. I'm feeling it. You can do. You know, there's like, so there's components. Components can change a game object into anything. Essentially, any game object can become anything in Unity. That's what makes it kind of powerful. So this is a game object. Let me see. What am I gonna make? I'm gonna make some particles. So we're just gonna say, like, fire. Yeah, fire VFX. Something, and then I'm going to add a component. You can add whatever you want. There's, like, tons of stuff here. Tons of stuff. You can turn this into a camera if you want, like, just anything you want. Effects, and we're going to say particle system. This is Unity's default old school particles. I like using them because they're very fast for prototyping. And then once I get, like, a prototyped particle down, I will go to the newer system that's a little bit more robust, but I think these work pretty well for, like, quite a while, you know, on a project. So it starts with, like, a broken shader because they haven't even updated that yet, which is so funny. Let's see, we gotta use something that'll actually be compatible. Default particle, here we go, there's my default particle. If you are annoyed by these, like, outlines, which I always get annoyed by, you can say go into gizmos. I'm just all my little tips and tricks, I'm just gonna put them all out there. Selection outline off. When you're editing particles, like, you need that off. It's just too annoying otherwise. So let's just do, like, some stupid fire that doesn't look like fire whatsoever because we don't have enough time to actually make fire. Start size. So fire's fast. We're gonna want it to die real fast, like 0.3, and then start speed's, like, really fast. So dink 0.3, start lifetime between 0.3 and 0.5, start speed between, these are between two constants, I'm changing it to, you can do curves or whatever you want. Start speed would be, like, really fast, 100, no, not 100, sorry, that's way too fast, 20, I'm making no plan, I'm just doing this all on the fly right now. So these are going to have to die faster. 0.1 and 0.2. Size. And this doesn't look like anything right now, and it looks like it's really stupid, but it will turn into something, I promise. 0.5 and 1, whatever. Shape. Let's go into angle. So angle, maybe, like, a little bit of a cone, but not much. Radius, way small. Yeah, 0.4 maybe. And then emission, oh yeah, we wanted to emit a little bit more. Let's just put a whole bunch in there, 100. You don't want to go so you don't want to go crazy on particle emission. I think a rule of thumb is I try to keep everything, for the most part, below 100 particles. I think it's per second, below 100 particles per second, because when you take into account an entire game and everything that needs to happen at all on every frame, it adds up really quick. So you don't want these old particles use the CPU, which is a really huge bottleneck, which is why I like Unity's new system uses the GPU, so you can go crazier on the new particles. Old particles I wouldn't go too crazy on. Oh yeah, color. Doesn't even look like fire yet. 2 colors. We're gonna just say, yeah, we'll make it stupid. Whatever, orange and yellow. Yay, orange and yellow fire. Don't want to go red, it'll start looking like mustard. This looks stupid, so we're gonna change this to an additive. Is there an additive? Don't tell me they don't have an additive by default in this project. Oh my god. right, I'm gonna make a part. I'm gonna make a material. Just going through the whole freaking pipeline at this point. Let's create a material. I thought they would have more stuff in this scene, to be honest. Like, I didn't even check it. Additive matte. And we're gonna say, oh yeah, this is new. The new shaders in Unity are a little bit different. You have to change it to transparent. Oh, it has to think. Okay, it's gotta think. Change that transparent option. Blending mode. Oh, blending mode. Okay, so you change it to transparent and then additive blending mode, and that should be usable by the particles, I think. I'm pretty sure. So yeah. You always want additive for fire. It basically just adds the color on top of whatever color's behind it. Whereas transparency reveals what's behind it, so it's a little bit different. Alpha is cheap. Alpha is not cheap. Additive is cheap as far as processors go. So like if you can do an additive on something, I would. Because it's like dirt cheap for process. It's just when you get into alphas and it has to like, if you have stacking alphas, then the GPU has to decide, okay, so I'm revealing this behind this alpha, but then this alpha I have to take into account what's revealing behind that alpha, and then the more they stack, it just kind of has to like think a lot to get you the final output. Where's my material? So the search function in Unity works amazingly. Let's go to additive matte. Let's change the texture so that I can have my base map. Oh, no, I want base map, default particle in there. Oh, that's not. Oh, that's surface inputs. That should be it, right? Do I have to do an alpha? I shouldn't have to do an alpha. It's additive. What? There's some options here that I'm not sure on, so I guess I'll. Rendering pass. See the base. If I change the base map to, whatever. It's okay. Let's just keep this how it is. Whatever. We'll do pixel fire. Whatever. Let's do it. We're doing it live. I want pixel fire. Why not? The start color is really bright. Like really bright right now. Like what's going on? Oh, it's not changing the color at all. So. There's something with this that it's not working how I would like it to. Let's change it further. HDRP lit is not good enough. For the old particle system, looks like you gotta use particles. Like legacy particles. Legacy shaders. Particles, additive. And texture, default. Hope everyone's learning stuff here. Alright, cool, I found it actually. So default particles need to use legacy shaders because they're old, and I think Unity is trying to phase out this anyway. So start size back up to what I had. This back up to what I had. And this is terrible, terrible fire. Like real bad, but you know, you get the idea. Speed's too fast. For sure. 10, 20. And since we're doing additive, it's okay that we put more particles in. 'Cause yay! Yeah, I mean this is basically it. I don't want any angle on this actually. So if you put more angle on it, you can do whatever. It's fine. Yeah, that's just like some really stupid dumb fire that I made. Yeah, so this is basically and then you save this. And you can put as many versions of it as you want in the level. So that's our pillar default. Where is art meshes? Where's prefab? Oh no, that's another prefab. I made a prefabs folder, right? Yeah, prefab. Okay, here's my pillar. Put another one in here. So I have two pillars. One on top of the other. Oh, the origin is at the wrong spot. That is bad, 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 bad. I'll have to change that. And then if you play the game, you can see the particles. So you can do the particles, see them two ways. I can select the particle. When you select it, it shows it. Or we can play the game, and it'll also show it. And here we go. Oh, whoa. There's some Z fighting there. That's some fun Z fighting. But yeah, so this is basically, and I can't jump for some reason. But yeah, that's kind of like the workflow how Unity works. Honestly, it's not all of it, but it's most of it. So yeah, thank you guys, and I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you need anything else. Yeah, I might get kind of busy in the next month or so, so I just wanted to put this out here now. Thank you.